Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Our first news story here, brought to us by Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. Sorry, missed that part.
It's like, you okay with it?
Just Adam Bankhurst, you know. We're friends on Twitter, no big deal.
Are you really?
Yeah, we follow each other. He randomly
get him on here.
He randomly followed me one day, and I was like, "Cool, all right." I know. I
leverage that.
I should. He wrote this little article over there called Nintendo Direct, June 2023. Everything announced. So here's the deal. We're not going to be talking about this news story. We are talking about the Nintendo Direct. And I just wanted to kind of get our thoughts on how we felt it went. Because there's been a wide range of emotions, I feel like, on Twitter. From like, this is the best Direct to was trash. Like, it's really just all across the spectrum. It's interesting to see how people felt about this one. As the resident Nintendo expert, Adrian, what were your overall thoughts on this Nintendo Direct that we got here last week?
I thought it was a great Direct. I thought that there was a lot, most of which I was not expecting. Unfortunately, the rumor of the 2D Mario kind of got blown because people were talking about it on Twitter, and I heard it in a couple of podcasts that I was listening to that was the word on the street. However, that doesn't mean that the game itself wasn't a surprise. I'm going to go back and forth between it. So I just want to start off with the reveal of Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And that game is some of the best looking art I think Nintendo has put out in a long time. As far as revitalizing and changing a game's art style or art direction, it's like night and day from New Super Mario Brothers. It's the colors are bright and vibrant. I tweeted out when the Direct initially first came out and was first airing that immediately as soon as I saw Mario get the mushroom and power up, that it evoked, I don't know if you've ever seen the first issue of Nintendo Power, but it has kind of like a Mario made of clay in a sense on the cover, and he's like, doing the classic Mario Brothers jump. But that's where my brain immediately went to. So they're like, they're integrating elements of that. Of squash and stretch with the characters, which is like an animation term for where you can make characters kind of do like, bend down and kind of flatten out and just different stuff like that. The animation has gone from 1 to 10. When you look at it, I've been going frame by frame over this game, dude. I have been waiting to talk about this. Okay. So when you go top speed as a character now, instead of seeing the feet actually go, they do like how cartoons do, and they make multiples of the feet to kind of evoke that sense of speed. There was that one little section where Mario went through the pipe and his hat fell off and only his hand reaches out to grab it and bring it back in. I'm like, dude, that's just like those old school cartoons, and that made me so happy. The little details of people's faces changed, like when Daisy was pushing the little pipe back against that new whatever chuck that is, and you could tell she was straining. Just little things like that all add up, and I think that we are really in for an all new era with this game. I think that this is going to be the new standard for what a 2D Mario game is going to need to achieve. Maybe it doesn't look like this, but all these little touches and hallmarks and animations and stuff are going to end up having to be the standard. Moving away from that, we got a new WarioWare, which seems like it's a direct successor to Smooth Moves, the one that was on the Wii. I'm all about it because it looks like more classic WarioWare. We got 2 WarioWares, Garrett, in one generation.
Wow. Because the other one too just came out recent. Like that was just like last year, wasn't it?
I think last year or late 21.
Yeah, it was either beginning of last year or late. Like it's crazy. Like also they pumped that one out and then this one. And that was fun.
It was good, but it definitely felt different. This looks and feels like mainline WarioWare. Like this is they're taking the gimmick of the system and actually using it like they did with the Wii, like they did with the DS, like they did with, all the other iterations. So this one, you take the Joy-Con and they're going to use it every which way they know how. I think I saw one that like all the players are a soda bottle and you have to like shake your body as much as you can and shake up the soda bottle to get it to pop as far as you can. I am all about that. You and I are big Wario fans.
Love it.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. And then the other big one was the Super Mario RPG remake, and that Peach is getting her own game.
Yeah, we don't know much about it, but we got that little teaser that Peach is getting her own game.
Yeah,
right.
so
that looks cool.
Looking forward to that one. The Super Mario RPG remake is gorgeous. Absolutely. I think they nailed it in recreating the art style and the feel of the original game. I know, for the youngins today, they can't really go back and appreciate what at the time was, state of the art graphics for a Super Nintendo game. So now this will be able to be reintroduced to an entire new generation. And Yoko Shimomura, famous for this soundtrack, Mario and Luigi, and of course, one of the greatest series of all time, Kingdom Hearts, has announced that she's returning to redo the soundtrack for the remake too. So
Dang.
This is gonna be a one to remember. So that's the outline of like the major things that happened. There was a couple of smaller projects. I can't remember how it's Penny's. What is it? Penny's Breakaway.
Oh,
it's by the team that made Sonic Mania.
Penny's Big Breakaway. Yes.
Penny's Big Breakaway. Yeah. That one is shaping up to be one that people are keeping their eyes on, especially with the pedigree of the team being just coming off of Sonic Mania, which is, in my opinion, the best 2D Sonic game. Come at me. Sorry. It is. It is. It's a mixture of 1, 2, and 3, all the best parts, and it plays the best. Yeah, that's pretty much the outline of like the headliners of what was going on. We got a big look at Pikmin 4.
Yep.
And shaping up to look great.
The announcement of the first two coming to Switch.
Yep.
So the entire series will be available now on Switch, which is awesome. Awesome for me. I can finally play them all out.
Yes. All four Pikmin are on the same console. So now, whenever I tell somebody you gotta play Pikmin, they have no excuse.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you, Garrett. I'm talking about just in general. But that's kind of like the overall, our overarching points. Garrett, how did you feel about the direct? Did it do anything for you, or was there anything that you were like, oh, I can't wait, I'm picking that up ASAP?
Yeah, I mean, overall I thought it was a great direct. Like everything that you mentioned, Detective Pikachu 2 looks awesome. I started playing through the one on 3DS and loved it. I need to finish it, and so like I want to finish it, and then definitely this will be a pickup pretty quick. Luigi's Mansion 2 coming, because that one's also like a 3DS exclusive that again I haven't started it, but I'm like, oh well, if I can play it here and it's like up-resed and better controls and all that, like that sounds so much better. Because I played, what was it for that book club I did Luigi's Mansion, the first one on 3DS, and I was like, oh, like the whole time I felt like I was fighting controls. It was not ideal, especially like knowing like how good it could feel on GameCube. Like I was like, just GameCube's pretty.
They definitely had to do some work to rearrange the controls to make it work on 3DS.
Yeah,
but it does feel a lot better on GameCube, I can tell you that.
Yeah, so like getting that, I'm stoked about that. As the Pikmin 1 and 2, as I mentioned before, but I think the biggest thing that I was like losing my mind over, because honestly, in today's day and age, like it's not unreasonable, but just the history of this franchise, like not really coming, other than one instance of it coming to Nintendo before, I in my head, I guess I totally didn't think it would happen, or just it was a surprise. So that was when Konami came out and announced that Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 is coming to the Nintendo Switch on October 24th, 2023. Coming with Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, Metal Gear 2 Solid, like all the NES and MSX games and stuff like that. And I feel like they gave more details in this trailer too than what we even got at Summer Game Fest. Summer Game Fest, we were like, hey, these games are coming. But in this trailer, they were like, hey, there's also going to be not just
all
in the
these
Switch,
extras,
not just in the Switch version, but all of them. You're going to get like these, like the PSP, like digital graphic novels. They're coming to it, which is awesome because like I love watching through the first one. Like it's so good. You're going to get like making of books and stuff. I don't know. There's like a huge list of all this cool, like basically the bonus features, of what you would get on like DVDs in the back in the day when you get the bonus features disc. Like I love those. You're basically getting like a big old bunch of bonus features on like the making of the games and development and extracurricular, like extra Metal Gear stuff in the collection. So I'm like, all right, this is a day one buy on this is going to be like my Death Stranding again, where I might be buying it on Switch. I might be buying it on Steam so I can play it on Steam Deck. I might be buying it on PlayStation just so it can be home. Like
I got a number of games that I did that with. Okay. Wherever I could buy it or wherever, just so I can make sure that I always had it with me. There's been multiple games where I'm like that. Cause
like initially I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna buy it on PlayStation and maybe I'll even buy it on Steam Deck so I can have it anywhere. But then it's like, oh, it's coming to Switch. And I'm like, oh, Switch with the OLED, like there's just nothing like it. So I might need to pick it up there as well.
Did you hear about that? The Volume 2 list is already leaked of stuff that's coming out now.
I have seen some leaks. Yeah. I mean, I guess in my head, like everyone seems surprised by it, but if there's a Volume 1, we had to assume there's a Volume 2.
Right.
And then like what other games could they be? Like I guess it wasn't a surprise to me, but it is neat that there is like some sort of confirmation. So basically on Konami's website for the Master Collection, in the last week, they updated it with like a whole timeline and there's buttons for currently just for the games that are included in Volume 1. There's a button you can click on it and learn more about that specific game. And in the code, they're able to look in the background and with like Inspector on Google Chrome or whatever, you look in the back end and see, oh, there's placeholder buttons for Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Peace Walker, and
5.
Even for 5, yeah, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, which seems like I don't know. It's just so interesting because it's like those games are already available on all modern platforms. Like, what more they're not technically.
They're not upraising them or anything. They're just 1-to-1s for those.
Yeah, they're not technically on next gen consoles, but I mean,
my question is, where is Revengeance? What's going on with that? It's part of the story.
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. Because from my understanding, it's almost like. Because I'm trying to think. I can't remember the source exactly. I could have swore I read somewhere that Kojima in an interview said it's the part of the story, but it's almost like an alternate reality part of the story. Like it's canon, but not real. Like it's almost like a multi.
That sounds flip floppy to me.
Like a multi.
His okay to that.
So in my head, it isn't canon. Like it's like a multiverse thing. Like, oh, what could happen? So that's my impression was always like it's not canon. Like that's if you were to ask me. I'm not saying it's don't play it. It's fun enough.
You think
game,
we get the assets?
But, I don't know. Because again, like those ones are also, from what I've heard, not technically canon, or at least the second one for sure. I know the second one is definitely.
It's almost like, well, anything I didn't work on is in canon. It's like, but you had to give the okay, dude. Like.
But again, if it depends on what Konami's goal is in these collections, because if it's just to bring you the canon story, then they probably won't be included. But if it's just to bring you all the Metal Gear games that you can't play anymore to the new consoles, I think they will be on there, and I hope they will be on there. Like, I hope they do, because at this point, most of those games are Metal Gear Solid 4 is locked to PlayStation 3, Acid 1 and 2 are locked to PSP, and Revengeance.
Peace Walker. No, Peace Walker's part of the HD.
That was part of the HD collection, so you can play that other places. But yeah, so there's just a lot of games that are locked places, and you can't play it. Portable Ops, even. So I would be completely fine if Konami's like, no, this is like the point of this isn't just to bring you the canon story. It's just to bring you Metal Gear products that you can't buy anymore or are hard to get. And in which case, I hope that's the case. I hope that's what they're going for. And I hope we get more volumes. Like, even if they have to break that up into like 3 volumes, like based off the amount of games we just named, that could be like a volume 2 and a volume 3 even. Like,
Yeah.
Like they can make all the money they want off. I don't care. Like give me Metal Gear. I don't like Konami, but I like Metal Gear, so I'll eat it up.
I do think if we get another volume for Switch, by the time 2 is ready to come out, we'll probably already have the new hardware, so it'll be able to run 4 and 5. Not necessarily, like at the greatest, ultra super duper settings, but it'll be able to run them competently. I think that's what they're banking on. I pray that even if they make it a cloud version, dude.
Oh, that'd be horrendous. I think 4 could run fine on the Switch because because
it was struggling on PS3.
Yeah,
it was sub 30.
But the Switch at this point has shown like PS3 games in general, like it is able to play those fairly well. Like there's been ports of other PS3 and Xbox era games that have come to it that are run fine, and so I could see Metal Gear Solid 4 running either about the same or maybe even slightly better. But
see, I'd rather just wait for the new hardware and have it run at a stable 30.
You're right. Yeah, that's ideal. That's ideal is I have it run smoother. And again, if they really are going to have 5, like Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain part of it, like it needs a little more boost, needs a little more power to be able to run those. So yeah, that could be down the road for sure. But yeah, so I thought the Direct was great. Stoked for WarioWare. That game looks incredible. There's a lot of random little like indie games that were announced too. That looked interesting.
Yeah. I was just kind of going over the headlines though.
Another game that looks neat. I don't know anything about it, but Star Ocean, the second story R.
Oh yeah.
That game looks so cool. It's doing the whole 2.5D thing.
It's like their own spin on that.
But it's like
2D.
But what's cool about it is like the world, because a lot of times when you do that art style, everything's pixel art, but they just make it in a 3D world. This is like, no, the world is all like 3D rendered and just the characters and the enemies and creatures are 2D. I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like it's just like a higher res. Like I'm looking at the trailer here and it's like, oh no, that's like a really high res like world in the background and like a ramp, like steps going up the side of this mountain and stuff. But then like the characters, it's like these 2D sprites in this 3D world. It's like a really cool look. So yeah, I don't know anything about it other than that. I'm like, ooh, pretty, shiny. I like that. Yeah, so all in all, great Direct. Go check out some of those trailers. Go check out this article by Adam Bankhurst because he has everything listed with trailers attached. He does good stuff over there. So
fine work
to check it out.
Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.